What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and in this video, we are checking out the brand new Samsung Galaxy A34 5G. Of course, this is the successor to last year's super popular A33 5G. It's sort of a mid-level device within Samsung's mid-range A series lineup. Quite a few steps above the budget devices like the A14 5G, but still a step or two below the A54 5G, which we also recently checked out. However you want to classify it, the A34 5G is a very affordable device by today's standards, but it still offers a lot of the great features you'd want in a smartphone. So I'm going to go over everything you need to know about this new A34 5G. I'll talk about what's new this year, what's more or less stayed the same, and hopefully this helps you decide if this is a phone that fits your needs. First things first though, let's just quickly go ahead and unbox it so I can show you what all comes inside the package when you buy one. So like most other devices nowadays, this phone also ships in a super slim and minimal box, which means inside you shouldn't expect to find much. Slicing into the stickers and sliding off the lid, you're first greeted by the phone itself, and actually stuck inside the lid here is a small packet of stuff that you'll want to make sure you see. On the outside of this packet is the SIM ejector tool, and inside you'll find a whole bunch of paperwork and instructions, as well as a single USB-C cable for charging. And that's it. No wall plug, no case, no earbuds. Nothing else comes included in the box with this phone. Here is the A34 itself. I obviously got mine in awesome graphite, basically just black. It also comes in more vibrant colors, lime green, violet, purple, and silver, which actually looks really cool. Sort of wish I got that one, to be honest. And as far as pricing and availability, this kind of depends on what part of the world you live in, but generally speaking, the A34 is going to be available for under $350. Now, at least at the time of filming this video, it's not technically a US smartphone yet. It's widely available in places like Asia and Europe, but anyone can grab an international unlocked A34 5G and use it on a compatible GSM carrier. Amazon, for example, has these listed for $330 with the compatible carriers there. And if you're interested in doing some comparison shopping of your own, I'll leave some links down below in the video description to where you can snag this phone at the cheapest current prices. And if you're looking for some additional deals on tech, I highly recommend checking out Whatnot. Whatnot is a live online marketplace with rapid fire auctions on everything from electronics to sports cards, designer goods, collectibles, and more. And a lot of the auctions start as low as $1, so you can snag some crazy good deals on a new Samsung device, for example, or a pair of headphones, or jewelry, clothes, whatever you're into. I'm actually going to be selling a bunch of my own tech items live on Whatnot next week, on Monday, April 17th and Wednesday, April 19th at 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll do 2 streams since I have a lot of stuff. I'll be auctioning off smartphones, smartwatches, earbuds, cases, accessories, all starting at $1. And I'll have some giveaways too, including a new A34 5G actually. Download the Whatnot app using the link in the video description below, sign up for an account, and you get a free $10 credit that you can use to bid on and buy anything you want, including the stuff that I'm auctioning off. Be sure to check my profile on there and bookmark those streams too, so you don't miss when I go live. And thanks so much to Whatnot for sponsoring this video. So as is often the case nowadays, this year's new A34 5G sort of kind of looks like last year's A33 5G, but there are some important physical differences to point out. For starters, the A34 is quite a bit bigger. It's a 6.6-inch device now. That's the screen size corner to corner. Last year's phone came in at 6.4 inches. We still get the same U-shaped notch up top for the selfie camera, relatively slim borders along the sides, and subtle bottom chin for just shy of an 85% screen-to-body ratio. And in the hand, I didn't think the extra fraction of an inch would make much of a difference, but it kind of does. This is a pretty big phone actually, and it might just require a bit more stretching and shifting to reach the far corners of the screen than before. Either way, it's a similarly large Samsung smartphone to what we've had for a number of years now. Around back, the A34 is very much a budget build, matte plastic rear cover paired to technically a plastic color matching frame, though it sort of feels feels like a thick metal. Samsung redesigned the camera setup on this phone like they always seem to do. And actually now this budget A34 looks almost identical to the flagship S series. Here it is side by side with the S23 Plus, and you literally can't tell the difference just by glancing at them. Here's the A34 next to last year's A33 as well, so you can actually see what's changed. Like I said, not much really, but the A34 now is very much in line with Samsung's highest end devices, at least design-wise. And the matte plastic rear cover is also quite a bit different from the glossy glass rear cover on this year's new A54 if you want just one more comparison. Budget materials aside, this phone is actually IP67 water and dust resistant, so that's always good. An accidental drop in the pool this summer shouldn't kill the phone. Besides that though, not much else remarkable about this very flat, very standard issue Samsung smartphone. Taking a quick look around at everything else, nothing on the left side of the phone. On the right side, your usual volume and power buttons there. Up top is where the SIM and SD card tray is located. You do get the option of expandable storage on this phone, which is great. You can spec it out with either 128 or 256 gigs of storage, which honestly is not bad for a phone like this. And if you're curious, this phone ships with about 25% of that internal storage used up, but there's really not much that's non-essential on this phone. Just your usual suite of Google, Samsung, and Microsoft apps. No bloatware or junk games or anything like that, at least with the international unlocked version of the phone. At the bottom, the USB-C port for charging is there, alongside the speaker, and a big blank space where there could be a headphone jack, but unfortunately isn't. There's a secondary speaker hidden inside the earpiece slit just above the selfie camera at the front, and around back, that triple lens camera setup, which I'll talk about in just a minute. The A34, once again this year, has Samsung's optical in-display fingerprint sensor, which is mostly fine. It's not nearly as fast as what's on the S series, obviously. It still requires a touch and hold before unlocking, and from time to time it does miss, even after adding my fingerprint multiple times, but it's mostly fine. And this one, of course, has face unlock as well, so one way or another you should be able to get into it rather quickly. Speaking of the display, the extra large 6.6-inch screen on this phone is a Super AMOLED panel, similar to last year, but this time it's also a 120Hz high refresh rate display. It comes in at a resolution of 2340 by 1080 for around 390 pixels per inch, which for this size is mostly fine, technically a bit low on the PPI scale, but you're not going to be picking out any pixels anyway, no matter how close you might look. With this being a Super AMOLED screen, yet again, we get bold, bright colors, deep blacks, and a very vibrant and punchy look with everything that's shown on screen. And honestly, it is this awesome viewing experience that I think still makes the A series such a good value. On top of all that, with the full 120Hz refresh rate option enabled, this phone also feels super smooth and very fluid. It is a step up from the 90Hz display last year, and altogether, these specs are literally on par with Samsung's flagship S series phones. I've said it once, and I'll say it a million more times, the viewing experience on these A series phones, especially the A34 here, is what sells these devices. Objectively, you're getting the same basic screen specs as an $800 phone, and visually most people couldn't tell the difference anyway. It's a fantastic screen from start to finish yet again, and it is a top feature for this phone in particular. To pair with the excellent viewing experience, the A34 gets a dual speaker setup, something we've seen on A series devices before, and while it's great to have, don't get me wrong, the speaker setup on this phone isn't particularly amazing. It's loud, it's very obvious that there are two speakers that are putting in the work, but it's not as clear as it could be, especially with the volume cranked all the way up. But I can't complain too much, it's perfectly fine for my purposes.
Tell me what's been going on. Tell me what's been going on.
Inside, the A34 is powered by a relatively new MediaTek processor, the Dimensity 1080, which debuted last fall, and it's paired to the Mali G68 GPU. You've got 6 or 8 gigs of RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of storage, like I mentioned, as your configuration options. My device here is sort of the base model, and here are the Geekbench 6 scores if you're interested in doing some number comparisons. The phone ships with Android 13 and One UI 5.1, one. I did have an April update waiting for me after I set up the phone, and out of the box, obviously this device is going to feel very capable. Now to me, I feel like opting for the MediaTek processor was actually a good move. I know there's still some sour feelings towards Samsung's Exynos line, and the higher tier A54 has an Exynos chip, which technically is more powerful on paper, but if you've sworn off Samsung's SoCs for good, this phone might be your answer. It's a responsive and seemingly well optimized device, which certainly has to do a lot with One UI 5.1, but I think comparatively this phone is significantly better performance-wise than, say, the lesser A14 5G, but hardly a step down from the A54. On top of the solid day-to-day setup, this phone actually is going to get 4 years of major Android updates and 5 years of security updates, the same amount of support as the A54 and as Samsung's S-series phones, which is just crazy. So unlike years past where maybe the S-series phones didn't get much attention on the software side, this phone is poised to be a long-term, multi-year smartphone with all the new software updates ahead. And it's yet another reason why I think these A-series phones are still such an incredible value, but especially nowadays. They're affordable, they're plenty powerful, and you know they'll last for years to come now with all the support and updates they deserve. As far as the battery size and charging speeds, this phone gets a pretty beefy 5,000 milliamp battery inside, which is the same size as last year and the same size as a lot of these bigger mid-tier Samsung phones. I fully suspect this phone to be an all-day device and then some, especially with some improvements via One UI, and I'll be putting it to the test for my full review, of course. To juice up, you've got 25 watt wired charging speeds if you can provide the proper wall plug to facilitate that, since Samsung doesn't give it to you. Besides that though, there's no other wireless charging or other power features to mention. Finally, when it comes to the cameras, the A34 actually loses a lens this year, while everything else pretty much remains the same. You've got seemingly identical 48 megapixel main, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and 5 megapixel macro lenses as last year, just no more depth sensor. And the selfie camera up front also seems to be the same, the 13 megapixel shooter. Inside the camera app, I don't spot anything new or different. While you do get a ton of great camera features and shooting modes that I think once again scream value, there's nothing here that Samsung explicitly changed or improved to my knowledge, which is unusual since camera tech seems to be about the only thing that gets upgraded on phones nowadays. Still, these A-series phones always have a really robust set of shooting modes, and snapping some quick sample shots here, they also take some really good looking pictures. I suspect with the improved internals and more reliance on processing and software that images and videos should still look better, even without any actual hardware changes. And I'll have some camera comparisons coming soon on the channel to confirm that, but all in all, while this phone isn't a flagship photographer, whipping out the A34 and snapping a quick pic should yield you a pretty great result. So overall, this year's A34 5G isn't too different from last year's A33 5G. It's got a slightly refreshed design, and it's a little bigger too. It's faster and more powerful, though that's always tough to measure. The 120Hz high refresh rate is a nice add-on to the display, but most everything else about this phone remain the same. Is it worth upgrading to? Perhaps not, but for under $350, it's tough to pass on, and I think regardless of whether or not it's a big update, it's still an incredibly good value for the money, in my opinion. But what do you guys think about the new A34 5G? Are you considering right now? Do you have it already? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.